a 2016-os Atlassian D-en már egy kicsit beszéltünk erről a témáról, egy gyakorlat erejéig beemeltük az eszközkezelést a JIRába, és én nagyon-nagyon örülök annak, hogy nem 5 év múlva, nem 10 év múlva, nem jó ég tudja, hogy mikor, hanem már egyből a következő Atlassian D-en itt van egyenesen a gyártó, és tőle tanulhatunk ebben a témában, hiszen én úgy érzem, hogy ez egy nagyon központi tématerülete tud lenni az IT Service Managementnek, és igazából majd meglátjátok, hogy mennyire robosztus és sokrétű ez az eszköz, amit Frederikék készítettek. Ez nem feltétlenül csak egy CMDB-re jó megoldás. Az első dia, ez valószínű ismerős már számotokra. IT Service Management az Atlassian aspektusából. Ugye megbeszéltük, hogy a szolgáltatásainkat a Customer portálon tesszük közzé, a feladatainkat a JIRán belül kezeljük, és a dokumentumokat Confluence-en keresztül menedzseljük, kommunikálni HipChat-en keresztül kommunikálunk, a gépek kommunikálhatnak velünk Status Page-en keresztül. Alapvetően ez egy teljesen kész térképnek tűnt, sőt, még azt is tudjuk, hogy ITIL minősítéssel rendelkezik a Service Desk. Tehát alapvetően azt mondhatnánk, hogy oké, hát mi hiányzik erről? Hát alapvetően az, ami hiányzik, azoknak az eszközöknek egy ilyen single source of truth adatbázisa, amivel mi éppen dolgozunk. Itt ebben az előadásban most egészen erősen az IT csapatokra fogunk fókuszálni, de majd látjátok a későbbiekben, hogy amikor ezt az adatbázis struktúrát fölépíted, akkor teljesen te adod meg azt, hogy milyen típusú objektumokból szeretnéd fölépíteni az adatbázisodat, úgyhogy abszolút nem muszáj számítógépeket, meg szervereket, meg alkalmazásokat, meg egereket belepakolgatni, hanem te akár CRM-re is használhatod ezt majd későbbiekben. Mi a kihívás az IT csapatok számára ebből a szemszögből a service management kapcsán? Érkeznek hozzájuk a különböző kérések, lehet ez egy change, lehet ez egy service request. Nagyon fontos, szinte mindegyiknél elő fog kerülni az, hogy oké, de most konkrétan melyik eszközhöz kapcsolódik ez. Miért fontos ez? Alapvetően lehet, hogy egy kollégánál kint van akár 2 számítógép is, vagy kint van akár 2 monitor is. Sokat segítene nekem, ha tudnám már az elején azt, hogy melyikről van szó. És ugyanígy, hogyha van egy change folyamatom, hogyha nekem nem kell máshol utána néznem annak, hogy pontosan mely rendszereket fogja érinteni ez a változási folyamat, akkor sokkal egyszerűbb tud lenni a feladatom. És igazából az IT csapatok ezekből a kérésekből kapnak tömegével egy nap, és igazából egy viszonylag minimális fantáziával össze lehet kötni azt, hogy a hozzájuk beérkező kérések, akár az, hogy szeretnék egy új eszközt, ami egy sokkal nyilvánvalóbb kapcsolatot jelent mondjuk egy eszközadatbázissal, de akár olyanokra, hogy elromlott mondjuk a számítógépem, ez is még egy nagyon közeli eszközkapcsolat, de hogy upgrade-elni kellene a CPU-t a mail szerveren, na ez már egy kicsit áttételesebb, de megint még nagyon könnyen megtaláljuk azt, hogy itt alapvetően kell keresnem a kapcsolatot az eszközökkel, és ha azt mondom, hogy ezt a 2 rendszert kellene integrálni, na akkor már még inkább áttételesen, de előbb-utóbb oda fogunk eljutni, hogy oké, valahol nekem tűzfal portokat kell nyitogatnom, valahol nekem valamit telepítegetnem kell, és nagyon jó lenne, hogyha lenne egy handy toolom, ami segít nekem abban, hogy ezt mihamarabb megtaláljam. És ami egy borzasztó érdekes dolog volt, hogy készítettek egy felmérést, ugye a support csapatoknak az egyik legkomolyabb mérőszáma, ez a mean time to resolution. És készítettek egy felmérést, aminek az lett az eredménye, hogy ez a mean time to resolution, ez nagyon-nagyon erősen összefügg valamivel. És ez a valami pedig a mean time to diagnose, tehát hogy az az idő, hogy amíg megtalálom azt, hogy pontosan mi a probléma, amíg analizálom ezt a problémát, ez a teljes megoldási időnek a 70%-át öleli föl. És alapvetően, hogyha nálunk is hasonlóak a mérések. Hogyha hiszünk ennek a statisztikának, akkor innentől kezdve már nagyon erősen érezzük a szükségességét és a hatékonyságnövelő lehetőségét annak, hogyha én kapok egy hibabejelentést, és annak a diagnózis idejét azzal le tudom radikálisan csökkenteni, hogy én pontosan látom, hogy ez melyik szerverrel kapcsolatos kérés, azoknak a szervereknek annak a szervernek a dependenciáit egy vizualizáción én nagyon könnyen át tudom tekinteni, akkor ezt az időt fogom tudni nagyon lerövidíteni. És az, hogy ez most egy kérés, vagy egy probléma, vagy egy change kapcsán kerül elő, az már alapvetően részletkérdés. És a megoldást az hozhatja számomra. Most nyilván mondhatjátok, hogy akinek kalapácsa van, az mindent szögnek néz. Tehát nyilván ez az előadás most nagyon-nagyon sok aspektusból pont azt igyekszik kiragadni, amikor az segíthet nekem, amikor a bejelentéseimet egy központi eszközadatbázishoz kapcsolhatom. És most átváltunk angol nyelvre, és egy case studyn, egy Spotify-os case studyn keresztül, valamint a kapcsolódó 3 eszköz bemutatásán keresztül megismerhetitek azt, hogy mennyire robosztus módon és alapvetően mennyire egyszerűen néhány lépés segítségével föl tudjátok építeni azt az eszközadatbázisotokat, amit utána könnyűszerrel bele tudtok integrálni a JIRA formokba, vagy akár a Customer Portal formokba, és az a szinte utopisztikusnak is tekinthető cél, hogy a Customer Portálon valaki úgy adja le az eszközigénylését, hogy ott már egy olyan listából választ, amihez neki jogosultsága van, vagy úgy adjon le egy hibajelzést, hogy ott a saját eszközei közül tudjon válogatni, az igazából a mindennapok részévé válhat. Úgyhogy in this point, I pass the microphone to Fredrik, and please continue the presentation.
All right, first I will introduce myself. My name is Fredrik Karbing. I'm from Stockholm, Sweden, from the company Riada. And Riada, besides being a Platinum Solution partner, is developing add-ons. Our products are mainly related to asset management. So asset management is about giving you control over the assets, the things that are important for you. JIRA is very good for the workflows, for the issues, for the tickets. Someone has a problem, someone reports it, someone gets assigned and starts and finishes something. But what we realized when we talk to customer is the need to connect what an organization is spending time on, to connect that to the assets that exist in the organization. That could be it could be servers, it could be applications, it could be legal documents, it could be pretty much anything, but we have focused mainly on the asset management area, but inside, which is the product that we're promoting, can represent pretty much anything. I will explain a bit more of that in details. So if we look at the picture, what we try to solve or focus related to the insight is to give control to the organization in terms of connecting the JIRA issues to the assets that might cause a problem. If we have a JIRA service desk, we might have a customer that says the email service is not working. That's the world for the end customer. My email service is not working. So the agent receives that request, and JIRA Service Desk Insight integrates with JIRA Service Desk, which allows the customer to select the email service as part of the information, the data flow in this service request. The agent receives it. He checks up. Okay, it seems like the email service is not working, but it's not only the email service that's the problem. It's the host is not working. You know, maybe we're out of memory, maybe the disk is full or whatever. So the agent would pass that on to the second line or third line support. Second or third line support, they're not interested in email service. They're interested in the IP address of the host. They're interested in the number of CPUs. Basically, as we move along the chain in this flow of this service request, different levels or layers of people will be interested in different kind of organization. And Insight allows the different roles in this flow to easily connect the different assets and allowing each role to find the information they find useful in order to help the customer or actually solve the problem. When it comes to traceability, we do store all the historic changes related to the objects. So if we see that this host changed the CPU 3 days ago, okay, maybe that's a problem. Or maybe the disk was changed, yesterday. Well, that could be a source of problem. With these assets, objects that you can model through Insight, you will have the information in order to analyze related to situations that comes up in the organization. Reduce cost. I think you mentioned it shortly as well. The faster we can identify the problem or pass on information to the next step that enables the next person to do their job, the shorter the time, the less the cost, right? And in the end, we're not really interested in getting an email saying, the email server is wrong, please restart it. In the end, what we want to find out is, has someone reported 50 times this month that the email server is not working? Okay, is this old Windows server that is running on? Maybe we should change the old Windows server. So it's actually about compiling information that allows the organization to make the right decisions related to what is working or what is not working. So Insight will help you with that. I'm going to talk about one of our customers. We have 1,500 customers at the moment, and it's growing rapidly. Spotify is one of them. You probably recognize them. It's one of the world's biggest online music streaming services. Sweden-based company, so we work quite a lot with them. They have started their journey as many other companies related to implementing a service desk, process flow. They got JIRA, they got Confluence. They're using a lot of the Atlassian products. When they started to implement these processes, related to some of the processes, they realized that we create a lot of tickets, but in the end, we have a lot of information that is just like free text. Custom fields in the issues, or someone reporting problems, writing a summary about this and about that. What they wanted to do was to organize various business processes so they would be able to provide partly better service internally. And I'm going to talk about one specific use case where we have helped them implement what they wanted, and it's related to the fact that it's an IT company. They have a lot of computers, mobile phones, they got a lot of employees. Sorry. What happens once in a while is that a laptop or a mobile phone related to an employee breaks down, or it stops working, or the battery is old and needs to be changed and stuff like that. So that was one of the processes that they wanted to make more efficient. So in this use case I'm going to talk about, it's not going to be about servers and CPUs and hard drives. It's going to be about the employees needing to have the laptop or the mobile phone working so they can, do their daily job, actually. So, asset management challenges. This was the situation in Spotify. Basically, a lot of issues coming in based on service requests. Users saying my battery is low, I need a new computer, or I can't find my computer, or I forgot it somewhere, which meant that Spotify, they had to buy extra laptops and extra mobile phones just to have in storage to say, well, if 5 people come in today and say, I need a mobile phone, I don't know what happened with, I lost it somewhere or whatever, or my computer is not working today, I need to hand it in to be fixed, I need a new one, please give it to me. The problem they had is, okay, so we can count the number of issues that we get, but the issues themselves don't keep track on how many laptops do we have, how many Macs, how many Windows, how many iPhones do we have. That's where Insight comes in. So they use Insight in this particular use case to keep track of the number of laptops, iPhones, and stuff like that. Which means that when they get a service request from one of the employees saying, I need to borrow an iPhone, mine is broken, I need to hand it into repair. The agent that receives this request can immediately see, do we have any iPhones available? If not, you know, maybe you need to have a Windows Mobile for a few days or whatever. So by tying the needs of the employees in order to have the possibility to sort of loan assets and tying this JIRA Service Desk flow together with Insight and the assets created in Insight, they have created a quite efficient, a lot more efficient way of lending out equipment to their employees. And not only do they register the actual equipment with serial number and stuff like that, they can register who has it, when did this person get it. They can set an end date related to, well, this person is allowed to have this computer for 1 week because that's how long this person is going to have this computer. And when 1 week has passed, we can create automation rules in Insight that will send an email to me as an agent saying, hey, this guy has been using this specific laptop for 1 week, and that was, you know, the total period. It's time to get in contact with this guy and say, hey, you need to come back and return it because I have another person waiting for this laptop, right? So that is the use case. That's one of the use cases that we have helped Spotify with in order to make them become more efficient, you know, reduce administrative costs. So basically, this is some slides from their object schema. We call them object schema in Insight. It's the equivalent of projects in JIRA. And you can create as many as you want, and each object schema should represent or encapsulate something that would make sense. It could be hardware assets, or it could be financial assets, or it could be CRM or HR. It doesn't necessarily have to be something extremely nerdy or tightly related to IT. It can be whatever makes sense and whatever that's important for the organization to represent and keep track on. Sorry. So Insight is all about allowing you to get control over the things that are important in your organization. So with Insight, when you create an issue, we do have the Insight custom fields, which are like JIRA custom fields, but with a big difference. When you add Insight custom fields to a screen and you create an issue, the objects that you will be able to select for this issue, the data, the way it's configured, the data will be fetched from Insight, from the assets that you have defined. So if you would have if you have problems with the email service, for instance, you would open a service request and you would get a list of available services that you can choose from. And Insight can be configurable in such a way that you, based on who you are as a user and what kind of services you have permission to use, the list can be filtered to only show the services that Insight knows that you got access to. So even if the company might have 100 different applications or services installed, Insight can be configured based on who you are or other kind of parameters in order to filter down the information that gets available in these drop-downs, which means that it's very easy for the customer to create a service request or a JIRA ticket, only seeing the information that we have configured or decided is important for you. So that speeds up the whole process and makes it a lot more precise related to what kind of information is actually put in these service requests or issues that we create. And we also have inside post functions that we see on the right. They work pretty much like JIRA post functions, but they work over the assets themselves. It means that we can create a configuration that when a user reports a problem related to the email service, we can actually change the status of the server, of the host, where this application is running. So we could change the status to problem, investigate. So by defining these kind of inside post functions, we can automate changes over our assets based on actions from the customer or the agents. So it means that we can change statuses in order to make sure that our objects, our assets, represent the state that they have out in the real world, and we can do it, and we can automate this process as well, and that saves a lot of time as well. So we have three main products that we're promoting right now. Insight is the core of everything. That's the CMDB. That's where the assets, the objects, all the information that is important for you as an organization. We also did receive a lot of requests related to, okay, I am a user that only wants to see the information that Insight manages, but I don't want to be a JIRA user, or I don't want to go into Insight and search, look, and so we have developed an add-on to Insight, which is Insight Confluence, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's a way to easily see the information that is stored in the Insight. And we do have something that's called IQL, Insight Query Language. If you use JQL, you know what that is. You use it in order to filter issues to find the project and the state of issues that you are interested in. IQL does exactly the same, but for your assets. So it doesn't matter if you have 500,000 hosts in your system. You can filter out all the hosts that have the operating system Windows, where a specific service owner is assigned to these assets, or if some license has expired on some of the installed applications. You can filter out the information that you need. So you don't need to worry about how should I put things in folder. You classify the information, you put it where you want it, and then you filter or search over the data, just like you would do when you're using Google, for instance. You just write what you want to find, and hopefully you will find it. Insight Discovery, it's our network scanner. It goes out, scans all the networks in all the assets in the network, prepares the data so that Insight easily can import all the assets that you want to keep track on. Why is it important to keep track on the assets on the network? Because they change status, they change state. Some are up, some are down. We changed the installed applications. Maybe we have installed applications that are not legal. Maybe we are violating license agreements. It would be nice to get all that information automatically scanned and imported in Insight, and I can start searching for all the installed applications that are on my blacklist, for instance. And I can go to this server or this Mac or this Windows machine and say, hey, sorry, you installed something that is not legal. We're breaking legal rules here. So, perfect. Asset management with Insight. Well, we talked about, it's a CMDB in JIRA, single source of truth. That's where all the important information related to our assets reside. Automation, just like Jira Service Desk has their own automation, Insight has its own automation. Insight automation, it means that when status changes on objects, we can define rules that says if this server changes status from running to stopped, send an email message or create a Jira issue or send an HTTP request. We got various events defined that you can easily create as automation rules. Dependencies. We have a very neat and easy way to connect different assets to each other. If we think about a server does it have a lot of dependencies or relationships to things? Well, the answer is yes, because a server has CPUs, it's got hard drives, it got installed applications, it got a lot of information that there's a lot of information that exists on these servers or laptops that we as users, we normally don't see. Maybe if we open the task manager, we see that, okay, there's 500 processes, actually services running. Inside Discovery can find that, import that to Insight, and we can very easily find the dependencies. Where are things installed? Open APIs. Insight has been created not only to support the actual client, but we also made sure that all the REST calls or services that we are using between the client and the server, that we built them as an open API, which means that if you and your organization has no legacy system that needs to send data to Insight, you just need to make a REST API call, and Insight can get that information, create the assets based on your legacy system. So very easy to extract information from Insight or change and insert information in Insight. This is a short example of the configuration of an Insight custom field, and I'm not going to stay here too long, but this is in the administration configuration of Jira, where it's possible to create an Insight custom field. And what we do is that we connect this custom field to an object schema, which is our container for our assets. We select the object type root. Basically, we select an object type. It could be servers. In this case, it's business services like SAP or email service and stuff like that. Once created, we just add it to the screen where we want it. And when we create an issue or a Jira service request, this drop-down will show up and give us the list of the assets that we think it's important that the user needs to select from. And by doing that, unlimited cascading, since we can easily relate different types of objects, we can easily narrow down and filter the options that the user has to choose from when selecting. So in this case, the first field up in the top is affected hardware. So if we know that it's the Windows server, let's say like this, it's the Bitbucket server that is causing problem, we would choose Bitbucket on top. The affected application, well, that list will be filtered based on the applications that we know are installed on the Bitbucket server. So we'll not get all the 100 applications, the total amount, and have to sort of manually filter. Insight will do that for you. And affected add-on, well, that's just an additional field here in this example, but I think, yeah, we have a short video. So we select one server, we select the Confluence because it's installed in Confluence, and we can actually select the specific Confluence add-on. It would not have been possible to select the Confluence add-on if we hadn't choose the affected application Confluence in the first place. So by doing our selection step by step, we keep on filtering the data, and the list will be shorter and shorter, so it will be very easy to find, okay, I can only select information that is related and represent, you know, the real situation in the organization. So this is a JIRA service request created, and the customer has selected, in this case, the email service. And in the issue, we see that the part in gray, that's actually inside custom field. So it looks like it's part of JIRA Service Desk, but it's actually inside that injects this information into this view. And by hovering over the email service, we see that it's running, it's critical as a service. We get all the attributes that are defined for this email service. When we have all this information based on a service request that comes from a customer, it will be very easy for us to find the information we need as an agent or second or third line support in order to solve the problem. How can we easily visualize the dependencies between different object types like servers or CPUs or hard drives? And how can we easily visualize a specific laptop and its specific, let's say, license or who is the owner of this laptop? Well, we have implemented a graph view that allows us to represent these dependencies. So this is information, this is assets inside of different types. We do have the email service, which is a sort of a business service. We do have an importance. We have the operating system. Everything is running on one specific server that has 4 CPUs. So this is one view of what a server and what's installed and the CPUs and stuff like that. This is reality out in your organization, and we can easily visualize this in a graph. So this is just a view of the Inside Confluence add-on. And what's interesting with this add-on is that you can represent different kind of objects and show the information at the same time. So you're not limited to only showing the information that applies for servers. What we can do is sort of create a merged view, so we can see the information for service and also the installed applications and so on. So we can get a richer combination of information. Insight Discovery, I'm not going to talk a lot about Insight Discovery here. It's a network scanner. You configure it, it goes out, it finds the host based on the IP range, scans the different hosts, and collects information about CPUs and hard drives and installed applications and stuff like that. It also gets the license information from installed applications. Some key features: agent-free. You don't have to install anything on the server hosts or laptops that you want to scan. It's possible to automatically schedule it, so it can run every night or every Sunday night. Dependency mapping means that we can define patterns that connects, for instance, the installed applications to the actual host. We can define how we want to relate our assets when we are scanning it. Pattern architecture simply means that our patterns that we use in order to execute the commands that generate the information that we scan, it's open source, so you're free to define your own patterns and collect whatever kind of information that you want from your hosts. Well, the protocols, SSH, WMI, and SNMP. Each one is used depending on what you want to scan. So SSH for Linux, Unix-based systems, WMI for Windows, SNMP for devices. Devices are typically printers and routers. So how to get all this information into Insight? Well, one way is to manually create it, but if you have 100,000 of objects that you do want to get into Insight, there's a few other better ways. With Insight 5.0 that is in beta version right now, soon we're going to release the final production worthy 5.0. We've done a big rewrite of the whole import functionality, which means that besides the standard formats that we support, like CSV files or LDAP or synchronize the JIRA user from the Active Directory, you can now also import information from your Bitbucket server. You can import your entire JIRA instance. Have you ever tried to find custom fields in Insight or issue types, or trying to find information in JIRA when you have a lot of projects, a lot of issue types, a lot of workflows, and you need to find that specific one? Insight can import the entire JIRA configuration and create that as assets, and you can start searching to immediately find what you want to search for and check the state of it. So get them all regardless of data source. Also the import functionality, we have extended it in a way that third-party developers can implement their own import module. If they have a legacy system like AS400 that banks are using for their financial data, if they want to import information into Insight, we now allow third-party customers to develop their own Insight import module add-on. You develop it, you install it, and suddenly you can import whatever kind of data that you need. So, from me, thank you. That was a short presentation related to Insight, our asset management content database system, and thanks for giving me the chance to present this information to you here. And thanks for inviting us to this event. I'm going to hold 2 workshops later today. They're going to be really intense, so prepare for that, whoever that's going to join up. And thank you very much. And I hand over to you.
Thank you.